Where is the fine line between encouraging your child to be their best and pushing your child to the point of feeling like a failure? If you struggle with this question and finding this fine line, then you're going to want to keep watching. My name is Nikki Morrow with To the Moon and Back Behavioral Consulting, and my job is to make your lives as parents so much easier in the day-to-day. So this may be and probably is a very emotionally charged question for all of us. I know it is for me. And we, based off of our experiences of how we were raised, we may feel like we were pushed too much or at times maybe not pushed enough. It is a fine line, and I know that well-intentioned parents on my end, I had actually both parents. I had one that was very, very strict and very much the pusher, and you need to do better all the time. And I had the parent on the other end that was more of, you do what you think is best and you do your best, and I have faith that you'll do what's right. It's totally two different types of parenting. So luckily I had a balance. But I definitely have become clear through my journey of parenting of how I want to approach things and what I feel will result in, the best outcome for my daughter in the future. And so that's kind of what I want to share with you guys is, what I've experienced through my journey, as well as what also research has shown. So the first part to being able to decipher this question and this fine line is to reflect back and get in touch with our feelings as parents, and as a child growing up, how did we feel? And a lot of times things with parenting trigger us. We don't even know why or where it's coming from, but they're indicative of these emotional wounds that happened when we were younger, and a lot of times we're not aware of them. They're kind of ruling our day-to-day lives in the way that we react to things, but we just don't know where or why that's coming from. So the more that you can reflect back on your past and be able to get in touch with these really intense feelings and to get honest with yourself of where they're coming from, the sooner that you'll be able to make that progress and become that kind of unbiased person in your child's life, that person that will create the space for your child to make their own choices and to really empower them to be themselves and make the accomplishments and do the accomplishments that they want to do, rather than you pushing them constantly. And we've been talking about intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation, and what's really I feel healthiest and most beneficial in the long term is to create that sense of intrinsic motivation where they want to do things because they know that it's right. They feel that it's right. It makes them proud. And ultimately, that's what they're going to do when nobody else is looking, is what is right because it's right for them. It's true to them. So that's where we want to start first off. I kind of went on a rant about that, but I really feel like it's super powerful as a parent to heal those old wounds so that we stop projecting them onto our children. So if that means that you talk to a friend about it, if that means that you maybe go talk to a therapist about it, I'm an advocate for doing what you need to do to heal yourself so that you can be that strong, confident leader for your children. Okay, so to get back on topic, when do you know whether to keep pushing or whether to kind of back off? We don't want to break our children. We don't want to push them to that point of they feel like a failure and they just want to give up. So the way that I address things is, I've worked with lots of kids in the past. I've worked with kids with special needs. And I feel like a lot of times us as adults, we underestimate kids. We baby them. We try to, make explanations and excuses for them as to why they can't do things. The approach that I take is I typically take the approach that they're capable. They're capable until I see signs that they're not. And that's how I act with my daughter. That's how I treat her. So when I see, for example, my daughter having negative talk, having negative self-talk, saying words of discouragement, like, I can't do this, I'm bad at this. And my ears kind of perk up, because I'm like, like, first of all, where is she hearing that? Like, I know that it's something she's picking up at school because I know she hasn't heard it here. But I come over and I say, what's going on? These type of expressions of frustration or expressions of like self-doubt are not a cue for us as parents to come in and fix everything. It's a cue for us to come in and talk to our children and explore with them where these feelings are coming from, why they're feeling this way. And from that conversation, we can gauge whether or not we should push them to meet their potential or to try better, or whether to advise them to maybe let's take a little bit of a break. Let's see if we want to revisit this later. So that's the approach that I take, is having that conversation, listening to their feelings, validating their feelings. And if you find out that it is more of an issue of them just fearing failure or fearing being embarrassed because they can't do it, then that's usually when I would, use it as an opportunity to teach them resilience and persistence. And if you can give your child an example from your own experience of a time when you had to keep pushing and you had to keep trying and practicing, and then with practice and hard work, this is what happened. Be honest with them. Sometimes hard work and persistence, it takes a few fails till it happens, and be honest with them about that. If it resulted in a failure, talk to them about it. Tell them, like, this is what I did, and this is how I felt. And then that gives them the space to be heard and to voice their fears and their frustrations. And they know that you're just a support and a guide for them, rather than this person that's going to judge them and have your agenda and push your views on them. So it just really gives a child a sense of freedom and support. So that brings me to kind of like what I had titled this talk or this topic, which was being your child's safety net. You want to be your child's safety net rather than their hand holder. A safety net is something that's there in case they fall. It gives you this sense of freedom and ability to take these risks, because you know that if you fall, there's something there to catch you. And that is such a powerful position for a parent to take in a child's life, is their safety net. You're not showing them that they need you. You're showing them that you're there for them if and when they fall. So that's that side of things. Now, on the other hand, if you find a situation where your child is expressing real feelings of frustration, like you see them and they're about to hit that wall or go over that edge, that's when you would come in and you would very gently and lovingly, guide them towards, I see that you're getting really, really frustrated with this. How about we take a little bit of a break? When I take a break from things, when I'm frustrated, it helps me to maybe come back and do it a lot easier. So let's go take a break, go with them and maybe distract them and find something else to do in the meantime. Give them some other suggestions for what they could do instead. And then once the high emotions have subsided, that's when you go back and you revisit the situation and you say, hey, I noticed you were doing that puzzle and you were getting really frustrated that you weren't able to do it. I heard how hard you were trying and how frustrated you were that it just wasn't working out for you. So, let's talk about that. How are you feeling? What was going on? And just listen to them and validate what they were feeling, validate those emotions. And in those situations, you want to be that sounding board. You want to kind of guide them and support them on their journey through whether or not they want to try this again, or they want to put it on the shelf for a while and maybe come back to it, but maybe not. As best as you can, act ambivalent. Again, you want to keep your feelings, your anxiety, your agenda, your fears out of the situation as much as possible. We are human, so it's going to come through in one way or another. But if you're more conscious of it in the moment, then you can really be that strong, confident leader for your child so that they can have that space to make those choices for themselves. And let them know that you're going to support them either way. You will support them with whatever decision they make and that you have faith in them that they will make the right decision for them. So that is the gist of my suggestion on how to make that choice in the moment of whether to push your child to strive to meet their potential or to back off and maybe just, again, let them choose whether they want to proceed or keep trying with that. Every child is different. So you as the parent, you know your child better than anyone else. So you need to trust your gut and your instinct. But also, again, be honest with yourself of where your feelings are coming from and where your agendas are coming from so that they don't influence your relationship with your child. So, when we're able to keep our feelings and our agendas and our fears out of the mix, that's when we're able to give our child the freedom to get that intrinsic motivation, that internal confidence that nobody's going to be able to take away from them. So many times parents fall into this very well-meaning trap of the overprotective parent, the helicopter parent, who, is well-intentioned because they're trying to avoid the suffering of their child. They're trying to save them from these pains and hurts and failures in life. But that's what makes us grow. That's what builds our character, are these times when we are given the freedom to fall and the support to pick ourselves up again. So that is what I'm advocating to you guys today, is to really be that safety net for your child rather than their hand holder. Give them the message that you're there for them no matter what, and you will support them, rather than this message of dependency, like you need me. And that will create a parent-child bond that will be based on a wanting to be together rather than a needing to be together. That is such a powerful distinction. And, my goal as a parent is to have a relationship with my daughter where she wants to be with me, not that she needs me. You know, I want her to go out and conquer the world and be as independent as possible. So, you know, just sit back and ask yourself that question and be really honest with yourself. That is what I want for you today, is to take this information and you know, decide and make a conscious decision of how you want to parent your child, you know. So that is it for today. I hope that you found it helpful and interesting. If you did, please like it and share it. And I will see you again next week with my video blog as well. So take care and have a fabulous day.